One of the most frustrating ID challenges is being able to separate the 5 all-black crows that occur in the UK: crow, rook, raven, jackdaw and chough. On the ground and with good views, it is relatively straightforward, but particularly in flight, things can get somewhat more difficult. We will study carrion crow in detail first and compare the others to this species. Carrion crow is found throughout the British Isles, with the exception of northwest Scotland and most of Ireland, where it is replaced by hooded crow, whose two-tone grey and black plumage should prevent any ID challenges. Found singly, more usually in pairs, but frequently in larger groups, crow is a large and handsome bird with pleasing proportions. It has a large beak and reasonably upright angle on the ground, standing usually neatly at around 45 degrees, and with its deliberate walking action, crow often looks as if it has had deportment lessons. The head is neatly rounded, the plumage neat against the body and the colour jet black and glossy. In flight the wing beats are steady and heavy, giving the impression that crow is actually bigger than it really is. Many people have mistaken crow for buzzard on first glance. Again, in the air, crow gives a pleasingly proportioned effect, and there are no especially noteworthy features. Highly vocal, crows give a distinctive, ringing, far-carrying caw, usually repeated 3 times, amongst many other sounds. The similarly sized rook is found throughout Britain and Ireland, with the exception of the extreme northwest. The folklore rule that you only see crows in 1s and 2s and rooks in groups is far from true, although it is fair to say that rooks are usually found in groups. Indeed, they nest in visible and noisy rookeries and often forage in gangs. The most striking feature of rook is its bare white face and pale bill base. This is a defining feature, but there are other clues to look for when the face cannot be seen. On the ground, the birds tend to be more upright, and they always look somewhat scruffy and baggy, with loose, oily-looking plumage, a pot belly, a highly peaked crown, and splendid baggy pantaloons. In flight, rooks look longer-winged than crow, with the wings narrowing slightly near the body. The tail is long and graduated, immediately separating rook from crow, but to me this can look confusingly like a raven tail if the size is not apparent. Beware in late spring and summer young recently fledged rooks, which until they become independent have fully feathered faces. These can look surprisingly crow-like, especially as those baggy trousers and the oily plumage have yet to fully develop. The shape of the bill here can help. Crow's is deeply curved and stout compared to the more straight dagger-shaped bill of rook, but the presence nearby of the adult should give the game away. You will not see rooks feeding crows. Extremely vocal with a wide repertoire, rook has a distinctive drawn-out caw, which they often utter whilst pitching forward in a distinctive manner. Raven is simply huge, by far the largest passerine, with a similar wingspan to a buzzard and even larger body. Traditionally considered a species of the Celtic fringe of Britain and Ireland, but now found almost everywhere except far eastern Scotland and England, although even here they can wander, especially in winter. At first glance, especially of a distant bird, raven can be mistaken for crow, but usually its sheer size will impress. Both on the ground and in flight, the bill is strikingly long and very heavy, and combined with a heavy ruffle of throat feathers or hackles, barrel chest and long neck, this gives a unique, heavy-headed impression. In flight the wings are long and broad with well-fingered wingtips, more like a raptor than a crow, but the most noticeable feature is the long, graduated or wedge-shaped tail. Ravens frequently give themselves away with an utterly distinctive, very deep and gravelly cronk or croak, sometimes uttered singly and sometimes repeated. The final 2 species are much smaller. By far the most common is jackdaw, found throughout the UK, with the exception of the far northwest of Scotland and Shetland. When seen well, the grey nape, black forehead and white eyes are distinctive. Highly social, these birds are usually found in pairs or larger groups, and are garrulous and noisy, the eponymous jack or chack call being the most obvious and frequent. In flight, jackdaw appears neat and often speedier than the larger corvids, and the broad neck and short bill leads to a blunt appearance at the front end. With flocks in flight, individual pairs can easily be picked out as they fly closer to each other than to other jackdaws. Common in human habitats and frequent nesters in chimneys, jackdaws can be confused with the following species when found playing aerobatically around cliffs. Chough is slightly larger, more rangy than jackdaw. Our rarest black crow, chough are found in well-known areas on some Scottish islands, the Irish coast, Isle of Man, Wales, and recently they have recolonised Cornwall. Unmistakable if seen well, especially when feeding on the short cliff-top turf, chough have a unique coral red down-curved bill and pinky red legs. But if these are not visible, the wingtips extend well beyond the tail. These long wings hint at the fact that chough are accomplished in the air, and more than any other UK bird, they seem to fly, tumble, and generally show off their aerobatic skills, apparently for the sheer joy of flight. Broad-based paddle-like wings with heavily fingered, even frayed tips give the birds mastery of the breezy cliffs where they live and breed. Chough, like all crows, are noisy, and their ki-ow or chow calls echo around the cliffs, often giving away their presence long before you see them. In late summer, beware mistaking young chough for their European cousins, alpine chough. Despite having a shorter yellowish bill than their parents, young choughs are still recognisable. Alpine chough have short wings and long tails, and their very short, slight bills are lemon yellow.